Well, you heard some members of the Bola Tinubu cabinet, and of course, they are bearing their minds. But the question will be that what are the plans of the protesters? Mr. Ebun Oluwadegborora, one of the lawyers to some of the organizers of the protests that come out to counsel the police, security agencies, the protesters, and the government. And one of the things that he has said that came out of the statement he released earlier today is the fact that those who are planning the protest should reduce it from the 10 days they planned initially to 1 day. But a lot of people have been talking about the federal government, the decision, the stance of the federal government. What about the state government? Let's speak with one of the governors tonight. I'm being joined by the governor of Nasarawa State, His Excellency Governor Abdullahi Sule, who joins us virtually from Lafia, the capital of Nasarawa. Thank you so much, Your Excellency, for joining us tonight.
Thank you very much, Sheon. We miss you. I'm happy to see you back. We miss you.
Thank you so much. It's good to be back. Amid all of this pressure, so much have been said about the federal government. But there are a lot of people who also think the state government's roles are even greater than that of the federal government. If there is hunger in the land and accusing fingers are being pointed at the federal government, one of the 5 fingers could be pointed at the federal government, but the rest of the fingers will be at the state government. What are you and your colleagues doing in the midst of it? It's a federation. We have 36 states and the FCT. We only have one federal government.
Well, that is what democracy is all about, Sheon. But this is not the period for blame game. This is a period actually for Nigeria to work. As far as we are concerned, we as state governors, I don't think we are interested in any blame game. Every state governor at the moment is doing everything possible within their own means, to ensure that you improve the welfare of the people, you improve the infrastructure of the state, you improve the revenue of the state, and that's what all of us are doing. If you come to Nasarawa State, you will see tremendous, it is no longer the same state that we used to have. A lot of things have taken place. A lot of things have happened. We are making a lot of investment in agriculture. Today, we are developing almost 5,000 hectares of land producing rice. We are employing people in those kind of areas. We are building infrastructure as far as roads are concerned everywhere. We are improving the payments, to all the various pensioners, gratuities that are going in place. We are improving the welfare of the workers, and everything where everybody is touching one thing after another, and just tomorrow we are going to commence, we were paying the what they call kudinye esule, which means money that we pay to the vulnerable. About 6,000 of them every month. They give some money. Now tomorrow we are going to increase the amount, which is what we are going to start paying. So, and every time I watch and we go to meetings of the various governors, you will see one thing happening here and there. But I think each time people begin to demarcate and say governors have done this, governors have done that, it's just a period, of blame game that people are used to having. The governors are very happy that the local government council have their autonomy. For us in Nasarawa, we are the happiest people that they do, so that they can try it and people actually can see. Because I have always said here in Nasarawa State, since June 2019, when I came in, I had not seen 1 naira of the local government council. They have their jack meetings. I'm not part of it. They decide what to do. I'm not part of their decision. At the end of the day, they disburse. But I think people will not believe that until now we have the autonomy. So now that we have the autonomy, they can go ahead and implement, and I think nobody will blame any governor again. So that's what you go through, Sheon, and I think that's what democracy is all about. When you want to lead, you have to get ready for criticism, right or wrong. That's the name of the game.
No, so the question now is, there is a local government autonomy, and there are those who will say, if the governors are being also up and doing, and the federating units are working, the federal government wouldn't have been blamed. It is not an economy of the federal government. It's the economy of Nigeria, the federal government of Nigeria, and its federating units, which means we're talking about 37 different governments and the federal government. And there are the questions as to there are now increased revenue going to the state. What are you and your colleagues doing with those revenue? There are increased money going into the coffers of the state. What are you doing to alleviate the poverty and the spending power of the average citizen? Can you, on behalf of your colleagues tonight, tell Nigerians that the leaders of this country now understand the pains of Nigerians in terms of the way they live their lives, in terms of the spending to embellish government and their officials, to make Nigerians feel that this is a government for the people and not government that the people are serving, instead of the government serving the people of the country?
Well, that's what I have told you earlier, Sheon. Maybe I need to repeat. There is no state in the Federation that I know when we go to our meetings that you will hear that has not improved the welfare of the staff, of the workers. No state whatsoever. I have also told you so many other things we do. Today in Nasarawa State, every time we give a certain contract, nearly every week we have one rural road that we have built that we are commissioning or the other. Nearly every week, if you go to it, we have one hospital or one clinic or one school that we have built that we are working on. There are bridges that we are building for people that have not. Every time that there is an issue with the people, we have paid more gratuity because of the improved revenue that we have at the moment. There is no contractor we are owing. We are not owing workers' salaries. We are not owing pensions. Instead, we are paying gratuity. Nasarawa State, just because of the improved revenue, we decided to select all the gratuities of workers from 1996 when the state was created to 2010. We have paid 100% of their gratuities. They have been paid. Now we are looking at 2011. Just last week, we approved another 1 billion to be given to them. In the next 1 week, we are approving another 1 billion to be given to them, so that gratuities of people, some of them have died, but at least some of their people can actually. We are doing all this not for anything but to improve the economy of the state and the circulation of resources. That way, people will be able to have money in their hands to do that. We have bought vehicles, in form of buses, that we have reduced the cost of transportation. We have given houses to the workers. All the workers who are in those kind of houses on owner-occupier basis. We couldn't do all these things if not for the revenue that has improved. Every now and then you turn around, we are giving one sort of palliative. Federal government is giving their own, we are giving our own from the state level. All that in order to reduce, we are not even selling rice at a lower price. We are giving the rice free. To some of these people. This is what is happening. And I talk more about Nasarawa State, but nearly when we go to meetings, you will hear that every state or the other is doing one thing or the other continuously. Nasarawa State, when I came in 2019, we had not yet paid the counterpart funding for UBEM for 2016. So we went ahead and cleared the 2016 to 2019. Today, as I'm talking to you, we have paid 2023. So all the schools that needed to be built are being built. We wouldn't be doing that if not for the improved revenue. So I can go on and on and on. If you come to Life Here today, you see a different city altogether. It is no longer the Life Here that you used to have. Why? Because of the improved revenue. And we're not borrowing money, by the way. Everything you see we are doing at the moment is not because we are borrowing. We are not borrowing a penny from any bank. As a matter of fact, we paid out some of the monies. Recently, because Nasarawa State, before we came, between 2013 and 2019, had taken some monies in form of ECA or so, amounting to about 57 billion. After working the programs that we have had, Nasarawa State decided that our own money that was going to come should be withheld. That way, Nasarawa State had paid the 57 billion debt completely. All these are monies that are going around, Sheon. So it is not like the revenues are coming and somebody is sitting on it. No, we are working with the money and it's being seen by those. But sometimes you have some of those politicians who sit only in Abuja. They don't go anywhere. They don't know anything going on. And then just boom, they give you a story. They should go to some of these places and see what is happening. Let them come and see. Life Here is very close to them. It's only 2 hours. I challenge them, come and see the Life Here that they knew just 1 year ago and the Life Here that we have today. Those are the challenges, Sheon.
Now, the question will be, are you worried, Governor Sule, that more and more the Nigerian people are getting more agitated and aware about the situation of things, and perhaps we are moving and pushing the government or the rulers or the leaders of this country need to now be more sensitive to the plight of the people, and perhaps there is a push of the people to the to the very brink, and perhaps if care is not taken, based on what the situation is, the federal government will say the Tinubu government is doing a lot, and the fact is that whatever effort they are making, we're going to go through a rough patch before we start experiencing the benefit of this government's effort. But the question is that realization dawning on the leaders of this country that the people are no longer ready to be taken for granted?
No, what is happening is that most of the time people are looking at some of the very hard decisions that Mr. President has taken, because that is his own style of trying to take very difficult decisions. And the two decisions taken that are bringing some of this economic reform that you are talking about. One is, of course, about the subsidy that has been removed. Two is concerning about the unification of the FX. These are the two major issues that people keep complaining about. And I have had this funny statement all the time. Where is the money for it? Where is the money? The money is there, is being given to the various places, given to the various states, coming to the people in different ways. And that's why I just gave you the example of what we are doing. And I have not mentioned 50% of what we are doing. So these are the things that are going to happen. Yes, there is going to be difficulty, but I think instead of just looking at the federal government, let the people hold every state governor. What are you doing with the improved revenue that you are doing? You are getting. What is that? And let every state come out and say, okay, we are doing this, we are doing that, we are doing this. Instead of President Tinubu cannot go and, he doesn't have land anywhere. The lands belong to the states. So he can't go and do agriculture anywhere, for instance. He is not going to the construction of the federal highways. Okay, they have already started, the one from Badagry to Calabar. And recently we had the stakeholders meeting, the one from Calabar coming to Abuja through some of our own states, and the one going from Badagry all the way to Sokoto. And then you have so many of them more. So federal government will continue to do its own part. They are doing the students' loans, they are doing this, they are doing that, but the states are where the impact is. And when you talk about the improvement of the states, it's the same with the local government. The same revenue that the states have seen improvement is the same the local government have seen improvement in their revenue. The local government in Nasarawa state, when they are getting their own after the FAC meetings, they are now getting 100% increase. They used to get about 2-something billion. Today, they are getting 4-something billion. Today, the local government in Nasarawa state are not owing anybody any salary, and they are not paying in percentages. That is what. Two, they have some savings, for God's sake. In the past, they never had anything like savings. Today, they had savings. So anytime issues come up like this minimum wage, they can go to their savings and say, all right, from our savings, we can do this, we can do that, we can do this. In the past, they couldn't do that. These are the issues. But when you dig down into the states to know what the states are doing, that's when you will know. But when you just put a blanket, okay, federal government, economy is not good. Economy is not, okay, which economy? What is going on in the economy? I wish people will take it professionally and say, all right, Mr. President, what is our power generation today? 5,000 megawatts. What did you get? How are you going to improve it? Are we going to get 10,000 megawatts, 15,000 megawatts by the time you finish? Mr. President, what is the oil production today? 1.3, 1.4 million barrels. Mr. President, why are we not getting what Nigeria is capable of producing, which is 3 million barrels a day? Why can't we get that, Mr. President? These are where people will engage the federal government and then get some answers, but not in the area, of saying that, okay, there is an economy. Okay, right now, the federal government, for instance, said there is going to be rice, even though in Nasarawa we have not yet received the rice. They are saying that there is going to be 20 trucks of rice that everybody is getting. The moment we get it, but for us, whether we receive that or not, we have a responsibility to our own people. So we have been taking care of our people with or without the rice coming from the federal government. Federal government gave us fertilizer. We get 65 trucks. I went around the state by myself distributing the fertilizers. But I tell you a joke now. Some of the same people you are trying to help are the people also cheating you on the distribution of the fertilizer. Somebody that is supposed to get one bag will steal another one bag to go. Somebody that's supposed to give some other people is stealing to sell. So we will also have the followers problems, but we are just looking at leaders. That is the issue, Seun.
All right. We'll take a moment now, but let's bring some of these stories just coming in for you from Lagos. There is being a foiled IED attack in Lagos at about 4 p.m., 1600 hours. The police are telling us that a police officer reported at EOD CBRN base at the Ikeja that while he was on his way along Mobolaji Bank Anthony Way in Ikeja, he sighted an unregistered white Corolla car that parked on the main road close to the gate of the PMF 23 Barracks Mobolaji Bank Anthony Way, Ikeja, and that a young man alighted from the car, carefully dropped a bag by the side of the Nigeria Customs Service Federal Operations Unit fence, returning to the vehicle and zoomed off. Based on the report, a team of EOD CBRN from the base was quickly mobilized to the scene to identify the object and render same safe. And if confirmed to be IED on arrival, it was discovered to be IED. Subsequently, the area was cordoned off. SOP adopted IED rendered safe and thereafter taken to a safe distance for detonation. Accordingly, the residual of the IED collected for further analysis and investigation area is calm. The story coming from the Nigerian police force that there was as being a foiled bomb attack around the barrack area, around the customs area, dropped at the beside the fence of the customs in Lagos area in Ikeja. Now, let's get back to a conversation with Governor Abdullahi Sule. If you can tell us, these Dangote Refinery issue, but now we've heard that the federal government has issued an order saying that crude should be sold to the Dangote refineries and other refineries and be sold in Nigeria Naira. That is going to be a first to the ears a lot of people who have been monitoring that sector for a long time. Well, you know Dangote very well. You are a member of the APC. You're a leader of the APC. A lot of people have been wondering, what exactly is this controversy between the federal government and perhaps Nigeria's number one industrialist?
Well, what happened is very unfortunate, very sad, completely unnecessary and uncalled for. But I would like to use this opportunity because just last night I was together with Alhaji Aliko Dangote, GCON, in his house in Lagos before I got back to life here today. So the first is to show great appreciation to Mr. President and the federal government as well as NMPC for taking this decision, at least to feed that refinery with feedstock. The refinery must work for Nigeria, not for Dangote, for Nigeria as a matter of fact. Yes, it's a business, but the 20 billion naira investment in that refinery is the biggest investment anywhere today in Africa. And for that reason, Nigeria, we are lucky to have that, and we should not play around with it. And I see the picture that we just took last night, actually, that you are showing. And that's the refinery as at last night. So this is exactly the reason why I feel very strongly, that what the federal government or what whoever from NMPC had said was uncalled for. And the biggest of them all, I was actually in India when somebody told me, the biggest of them all is the unfortunate statement that the refinery was incomplete, was not completed, was only 45% completed. I just laughed when I heard that. Because on the day of the commissioning of this refinery, I offered the opening prayers. And it was the former President Buhari that commissioned that refinery. Let me tell you something, because from a technical point of view, if only all the equipment of that particular refinery were taken to, Ekpe and kept at that free zone, all the equipment without installing any one of them, that's already over 50% of the job done. If you know the amount of work that was done for the reclamation of the land first, to the generation of the power, that refinery does not rely on Nigeria for power. It's generating 435 megawatts of power of its own. That refinery is one of the most friendly, environmentally friendly refinery that you can have. They have 2 effluent systems, in order to treat most of the waste that is there. That refinery has a distillation unit, which is the tallest of any refinery that you can think of. And I'm not just saying that, I'm saying that from experience as an engineer who worked on refineries in Pasadena, Texas, in Deer Park, Texas, and actually was part of the building of the KCL, Deer Park refinery in the year 1993, 94. So I'm not saying it just because of what I read. I'm saying it based on the fact that I work on refineries. We build refineries, and this is one of the best that there is because of new technology. Technology is improving every day. So that is the reason why. So it was completely unfortunate, but at the end of the day, the DOS
as you raised an allegation, is visibly upset about the situation. It does look like something is going wrong. Perhaps with some elements in the government and Mr. Dangote, what exactly is going on? There seems to be some politics here that is affecting the economy of the Dangote Refinery.
That's what I'm saying, that is unnecessary and is uncalled for. And that refinery should not be used as part of the refineries, as part of any kind of project that we should introduce politics. Shaun, I just got back from China. In China, we visited a company actually called CATL. CATL is the biggest producer of batteries. They actually they are number one in the world. They produce and sell 40% of the world batteries. The government of India has decided to take majority ownership of that company. So it's something that if you go to Sinoma, the Sinoma you are hearing that is the government of China has taken majority shareholding in there because those are the companies that must survive. So the refinery must survive. We should take politics out of it. I refuse to say anything about the refineries in the past because people will not misunderstand that I'm talking professionally, that I'm talking maybe because I was former MD, former group managing director in Dangote. Probably that's what I'm saying, that I'm talking not as a politician, not as a governor. I'm talking to you as a professional who has worked in refineries.
But going forward, Governor, as form of your final word, what do you think should be done to ensure that for the interest of the Nigerian people, that has been portrayed that Mr. Dangote is not monopolizing the sector and that there is fairness within the sector and that he gets what he's supposed to get and there is fair play within the sector? Going forward, what do you think should be done? Just in about 30 seconds, if you may.
Good. I can address that, but I must address this topic of monopoly. NMPC had 3 refineries, actually 4, but in three different places, comprising of 445,000 barrels per day. Nobody else had a refinery. Was that a monopoly? Has Dangote said nobody else should build a refinery? If somebody today has money to build bigger than that refinery, can Dangote stop it? So the question of this this is some politics, some people actually with their own reason. But going back to your question, what should be done? I think what should be done, they have already started doing that. Number one, to ensure that refinery receives the feedstock so that the refinery will have sufficient product to sell in Nigeria. And if they are selling to the refinery in Naira, well, the refinery also should sell in Naira. So Nigerians will be the biggest beneficiaries of that. The government will pay, and then the people also will take it. So I think what needs to be done is already going on and is being done.
All right. Governor Abdullahi Sule, the Executive Governor of Nasarawa State, thank you so much, as always, for your time with us tonight.
Thank you so much, and once more, you're welcome back.
Thank you so much indeed. Appreciate it.